All right, guys, happy Saturday. We have a nice 8-game slate to go over. Again, in this live stream, it'll be Q&A style, so make sure to leave some questions in the chat. Had a really good night last night. Was close to a takedown, so hoping to keep that going. As far as news goes, we just got news that Bam Adebayo is in, Duarte in, and Daniel Gafford is in. So, yeah, not a ton of big news that we're waiting on for this slate. So, yeah, guys, make sure to leave a like button on the live stream and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, videos, live streams almost every single day. And then leave some questions in the chat. Utah mini stack and a Hawks mini stack. So, like, Utah's, I like the Utah side of it. I obviously don't really like the Sacramento side of it. So, like, if you're confident that the Kings can keep it close, guys like Gobert, Mitchell, those secondary options, all in play because this is a good matchup. The Kings have not been great recently. Hawks, yeah, I think that's the highest total, I believe. It's 227.5. Yeah, so that's the highest total game of the slate. No issue doing a little stack there. Donovan Mitchell, Bain, Ross, Tobias, Harris, Capella, Suggs, Ingles, Towns for cash. That's not a cash game lineup. It's fine for tournaments, but not close to what I would build for cash. Thoughts on Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, Gobert. All three viable. Again, Mitchell and I'm guessing that's Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, both in a good spot. And then Edwards doesn't really stand out at the price point, but he still has 40 plus fantasy point upside. Tonight's the night for NAW with Graham out. Well, I mean, he's playable, right? The minutes have been the concern for NAW. I like the spot here, but like he's no longer playing like 30 to 35 minutes. He's playing like 25 to 28 minutes. So yeah, he still had a couple of big games in limited time, but like this is the one game he had that massive ceiling game, but he played 34 minutes. The minutes have not been there, even with Graham out, only 27 minutes. That's the concern right now for Nikhil. Now, is it possible those minutes go back up? Of course. So I think he's viable for tournaments for sure. I think Larry Nance is a good tournament play. Yeah, I think he's been playing more of the backup five. And Philadelphia behind Drummond, they don't really have another big. So, like, I'm assuming both teams kind of want to go a little bit smaller. 20-plus minutes the last 5 games. So I do like Nance. I don't think the ownership's going to be super high in him, but I think he's a good play. Hey, man, hope work's going good for you, Samuel. Would you rather go to Franz or RJ Hampton for GPP? I need to see what the Magic do with the starting lineup. If RJ Hampton starts, I think he looks a little bit better point per dollar than Franz. But those Magic guys look good. Now, the concern you have with the Magic guys is where's the spread in that game? It's a 12-point spread. So there's a decent chance it doesn't stay competitive. Now, I think that's more worrisome for the Milwaukee guys, like more worrisome if you're targeting Giannis, because like 3/4 of Giannis, it's going to be really hard for him to pay off that salary. But like 3/4 of those like sub 4K Magic guys, if they lose, some time, it's not as big of a deal for guys like that, right? Thoughts on loaded in cash? Is he too expensive? I think you can play loaded in cash. The minutes, right? That's really the big thing with Dame here is these minutes. He's playing about 40 minutes a game. Now, and he's still not shooting the best, 6 of 18, 6 of 16, and he's continuing to put up, 40-plus fantasy points. The assist numbers are there. He's been rebounding the ball at a decent clip, and this is a good matchup too. So I'm perfectly fine going to Dame in cash. How many Magic is too many for tournaments? Probably 3 is where I'd cap it. Trae Young smashed tonight. I think he'll be pretty low owned. He's never a guy that gets ownership for cash games. Never someone I would touch. I wouldn't touch him in a 10-foot pole of cash games. But for tournaments, the upside's there. We just saw 70 from him 3 games ago. So the highest total game of the week or of the slate, I think Trae definitely in play for GPPs. I saw it was like 8-6 at almost the end of the first quarter. What is the score right now? 18-11. Oh my God, that's pretty disgusting. I won't lie. That is pretty gross. Wow. You like Hart at 5,100? Yeah, I think Hart will be relatively popular because it's the amount of minutes he's playing is why he looks good, right? You got a decent matchup here against the Pacers. He's just playing like 35 minutes a game. So, he's taken a pretty big step forward here this year. He's actually been pretty high usage for this team. Like Ingram's taking a little bit of step back usage wise. Like he's handling the ball a decent amount. The assist numbers 11, 5, 4. And he's averaging like 5+ assists a game. He's obviously a good rebounder for like a guard wing. So I think the only downside there with Josh Hart for tournaments is I think the ownership will be up. How do you feel about Ross today? Are we talking Terrence Ross for Orlando? I think he's a good tournament play. He's been getting close to 30 minutes off the bench a night. Now, what I will say to Terrence Ross is the peripheral stats are never really there for him. So on a night where he really struggles shooting the ball, he can go for like 12 fancy points. But I think he's too cheap. I think he should be 4K plus, and he's 3.4K. So he looks way better in FanDuel. LaMelo, obviously, on DraftKings, it's still possible because it's the highest total game of the week. Or game. I keep saying weekday. I guess I'm thinking NFL. But yeah, LaMelo still has a chance for sure. Tobias, a sneaky tournament play. I don't know if he's going to be like really low owned, but like this is another pretty appealing game. A competitive game. You should play 35+ minutes. So I think Tobias looks pretty solid. Towns or Ja? I'll go Ja there. And the reason I will is because Dylan Brooks out, Melton out, more usage for Ja, whereas Karl-Anthony Towns, he's got guys like Ant-Man and D'Lo who obviously can take over games as well. Yeah, I think Desmond Bane looks pretty safe, right? I think he gets 30-ish minutes, maybe a little bit more. It's pretty solid matchup here, and he doesn't have to deal with the black hole in Dylan Brooks. He doesn't have to deal with DeAnthony Melton. So I think Bane makes for a pretty safe play. Guys, make sure if you're just coming in again to hit that like button. We're at about 100 concurrent viewers already, so appreciate you guys. I feel about Suggs against a great on-ball defender in Drew. Not going to get me off him at that price point. It's just a price point thing for him, right? 3.8K is just too cheap, especially without Cole Anthony. So, sure, Drew's a good defender. Doesn't mean I'm going to get off Suggs at that price. If Suggs is like 5K, then sure. Then that's where we can talk about it. But sub 4K, don't care. I think Cat's always in play. Like he's not going to stand out. He's not going to look like an optimal play because the floor has been lower on Cat this year than it has previous seasons because Ant-Man and obviously D'Lo playing a ton of minutes. So he's fine. I think he's a fine contrarian option, but not really a optimal play. Maybe down the line, John. Top center tonight? I don't know if there is one. I think Giannis is your guy at the top. If you think Orlando keeps it close, I think he looks great. But yeah, center's a little tricky. We got Bam in, so it kind of takes Deadman out of play. We have where is he? We have Gafford in, so it kind of takes Harrell out of play. So I don't think there's like a standout play at center. RJ Hampton, Suggs, Hurd, or Josh Richardson all look good. Monitor the Magic starting lineup for Hampton. I think I only want to play him if he starts. Thoughts on Brandon Clark, cheap value? Probably not for me. Can you play Hampton and Suggs together? Yeah, if Hampton starts, I think you can definitely do that. Like they're both like 3K, so yeah. LaMelo or Ja? Good question. Small lean to Ja because Brooks is out, but that's pretty close to those two. Tatum or Jimmy Butler? I think Tatum now with Bam in. Tatum doesn't have Jaylen Brown, and I believe Robert Williams is doubtful. Or where's Boston? Or he's like not expected to play. Not that's like a huge deal yet, but like so Tatum's going to be their clear go-to guy here. The Thunder are not great in the defense end, so I think he looks better than Jimmy. Lillard, yep, I like him. Playing big minutes, good matchup. He still really hasn't had a really good shooting game yet. So like we haven't seen that massive game from Dame. I think it's going to come soon. So yeah, I like Dame. Gobert or Clint? Yeah, it's a good question. So like we're talking about this a little bit in the Discord. If I knew for sure Capella was going to play 32 to 34 minutes, I would really like him here against Charlotte. Now the only concern is behind Mason Plumlee, the Hornets go small. So do the Hawks match it, right? Against Golden State, a small ball team, he played 23 minutes. Now, he's had some big matchups here. Utah, big team. Denver, big team. The Bucks have had a big out there. Magic, big team, right? The Celtics are a big team. So he's been able to play 32 to 35 minutes. My only concern with him is a little bit worried he doesn't close and like maybe he only plays 25 minutes. And if that's the case, he's probably not going to get there. So I think Gobert's a little bit safer. Capella, the tournament play. If Capella does get like 30, 35 minutes tonight, I think he could smash. but I'm worried about him possibly not closing. Yeah, well, you just throw that last game out the window for the Pacers, right? Because Rick Carlisle just benched everyone. So, like, Brogdon, he was having a decent game, 23 minutes, 22 fantasy points. So if he would have got his normal, 37 minutes, he probably would have got close to 40 fantasy points. But it's just the fact of they have probably the worst coach ever in the NBA to ever coach in Rick Carlisle. So he just decides to bench everyone. Yeah, I think Ja's in a good spot. Thoughts on running Capella and Collins together? Probably wouldn't. How do you feel about Marcus Smart? Playable. He's been actually pretty good recently. He's only 5'1". Again, matchup solid. He's playing 35 minutes a game. So I think he's a safe option because the minutes and the price is not super expensive. Lillard or Trey? It's a good question. I think Lillard's more your cash play. Trey is more the high risk, high reward play. Thoughts on Brogdon? I think a pretty safe option. I'm not worried about last game. Rick Carlisle, again, just the woe. Should go back to his 35-plus minutes. So, yeah. You guys know I am not a fan of Rick Carlisle at all. Strategy for smaller tournaments? I mean, it depends how small the tournament size is, right? So much value. There's a good amount of value. Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any more news here? Hero's in as well. Yeah, we kind of expect that. He was on the probable side. Is Tatum a good play even though it might blow out? If the game stays competitive, it looks great. That's what you gotta have in the back of your mind is there's a chance he only plays 3 quarters. If he only plays 3 quarters, probably not going to get there. Is Bradley Beal a good spend up? Not really. Tough matchup here against one of the worst matchups in the league against Miami. Plus, his price is up a little bit. Plus, you got Dinwiddie back, right? He had a decent game last game because Dinwiddie was out and he had to handle the ball more. Dinwiddie being back, price up, god-awful matchup. Very little interest in a guy like Brad Beal. 10-person tournament. You probably want to play a good amount of the chalk then. Good amount of chalk, maybe get different in a couple spots. That's one where smaller field, tournament, you don't want to get too crazy. You think Hawks at game close, not sure why they're favored by so much. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that Vegas odds, right? I think they're 7-point favorites, 7.5. Maybe I'm just a fish, but I think the Hornets cover that. I agree. I think that I don't agree with that line. Russell Bain or Brogdon, Jay Rich for tournaments. I'll go the Russell Bain one. Love my lineup so far, but now I have 9 before I get 2 positions. With it around, however, I think LaMelo and Mitchell are, I'm guessing it's safe-ish. I think LaMelo looks solid. Mitchell has been a little bit disappointing, but he's been played for GPPs. Kyle Anderson for cash. Monitor to see who they start. If Kyle Anderson starts, then I think he's a good cash game play, because then I think he probably plays closer to the 30-minute mark. So if Slow-Mo starts, I like him. Yeah, I don't think you can play him in cash. If he comes to the bench, more of a tournament play, but still think he gets mid-20s minutes. All right, let's see what else we got. Just getting news for Sunday. Okay. What's going on in this Rockets game? Is it still 10-10? Rockets. Wow. Rockets kind of blowing them out. Now, what is going on with the Knicks recently? They have been not great. Marcus Smart or NAW. So I feel more comfortable with Smart's minutes right now. So probably Smart, but NAW still has upside. It's just those minutes have not really been secure for him. You Hero for cash? Nope. I bet on Charlotte. This line is insane. I mean, again, I don't really bet on games, but it feels like 7.5. They're going to cover that. It's probably just a fish line though, and the Hawks will cover. What do we do with Josh Hart? I think he makes for a good play. The only concern with him is ownership, right? I think ownership is going to be pretty high in him at 5-1, but the minutes have been amazing. It's a good spot. You've entered into some Pelicans value. A little you can go to Satoransky and Kira Lewis as a contrarian option. Sato started with Devontae Graham. He played low 20s minutes. Didn't do much with them. 25 minutes, went for 12 fantasy points. You had Kira Lewis off the bench, who closed, played 23 minutes, played really well. So if you want to use one of those guys in a larger field tournament, you can. But don't really feel comfortable with either. With all the other pretty good value on the slate. Any interest in Spider or Towns? A little bit. Neither really stand out to me. Giannis too big a risk versus Orlando. If the game's competitive, I like him a lot. That's the only risk. Potential, he only plays 3 quarters. Right, it's more of a risk for a guy like Giannis than it is the Magic value. If the game blows out, Magic value can still get there in 3 quarters. If the game blows out for Giannis and he only plays 3 quarters, you're probably losing with him in your lineup. Thoughts on Tatum today? I think he makes for a pretty good spend up. There's a few games that have blowout risk. That's one of them as well. Thunder 9-point spread here. Bucks 12. The Jazz even 8-point favorites. Definitely some of these games have some risk, but Wood 15 points, whatever. Hey, I have Wood in the captain for Showdown, so I'll take that. Forgot to say last team, I knew Rudy Gay would torch the Raptors the first game back, 30, 18 minutes. What was that? Yeah, I thought Rudy Gay was playable then. We just didn't know how many minutes he was going to play. He was also on a minutes limit. He shot, I think, 5 of 6 too. So, probably an outlier performance there for Rudy Gay. He had a good game. Melo Lillard Suggs, Smart, Ross Wagner, Tatum Anderson Capella. All right. Chasing Jeremy Lamb. No, definitely not chasing Jeremy Lamb. I just cannot believe that game, right? That is one of the most absurd things I've ever seen. 16 minutes, 44 fantasy points for Jeremy Lamb. He's basically been out of the rotation, and he just puts up 44 fantasy points. One of the most absurd things I've ever seen. He's going to get some ownership probably in lower stake stuff, but nah, I'm not chasing. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? I don't understand. Guys, again, make sure if you're coming in to hit the like button. It really does help me out. We're at about 30 likes. Thank you guys again for all of your support and coming in and checking out the live streams, the videos every single day. Still no news in some of these other games. What else are we really waiting on? I'm refreshing, but what else are we really waiting on for news? Lillard's probable. We got the Bam news. Hero's probable. There's really not much else we're waiting for. We kind of have everything, which is one of the Gafford's in. This is one of the first slates in a while where we're not really waiting on much. Stayed away from the Pacers this year, unpredictable. Yeah, Sabonis' usage has been way down. It's been disappointing. Brogdon's the guy I'm the most comfortable with because of his minutes. Lamb went ham. Yeah, he did. Kira Lewis in play in large field tournaments. My assumption is Satoransky starts again. But maybe since Kira Lewis played really well, they give him the spot start. And if that's the case, he'd be in play for value. Now, he definitely had an outlier game. And Kira Lewis is definitely disappointed. I've played him in summer league games, and he's been really bad in 30 minutes. So, he had a really good game last game. But that's no guarantee he comes anywhere close to that again. Right? I think that was definitely an outlier for Kira Lewis. I don't, no. I mean, every once in a while, but no. Just focus on Draftkings, really. I prefer the flexibility here, the utility spot. Much prefer the platform Draftkings and FanDuel. Now, I used to play FanDuel back in the day. 2012 to 2017, I was strictly on FanDuel. Moved over to Draftkings after that because just a better site, in my opinion. All right, guys. You got anything else for me question-wise? I can stay on for a few more minutes if need be. Just see. Terrence Ross at value. No, yeah, I think. I don't know if his minutes necessarily go up. I don't think he starts, but he should play close to 30 minutes off the bench. I think Terrence Ross is a solid value. NFL question. Yeah, Dak for me. Rob Williams out. Yep, so we expected that. So Grant Williams playable for value. He's a guy that, is not super productive. He had a good game 2 games ago, but he should play probably close to 30 minutes, 30 and 28. Busted here, had 27 last game. So he's for sure in play for value. He's just not the most productive player. But I expect some pretty solid minutes. I assume he starts again. So yeah, Grant Williams definitely viable. Need to go with therapy after what CJ McCollum did last slate. Yeah, CJ, didn't he have 0 at halftime? I think he literally, I'm pretty sure he had 0 fantasy points at half, which is better than Denny, negative 0.5 for me at half the other slate. DK name was not real. Yeah, it's just my initials. Thanks, your insight really helps. Yeah, man, no problem. John Morant over under 20.5. I mean, what's he been averaging? Let's see. So he's averaging 26 points per game. This is a pretty solid matchup. Plus, you have no Brooks and no Melton. So, like, if I had to lean one or the other, I think I would lean the over for Ja. Right? I think he just has higher usage. Thanks for streaming, bro. Have a good night. Yeah, you as well, man. Don't play Newton. Yeah, they said they might still work PJ Walker in NFL, but yeah, I probably wouldn't play Cam. What Cam's going to do is he's going to vulture my CMC touchdowns again. Do you like Gobert today? Yeah, if the Kings can keep the game close, I think Gobert is a good play. Like, he should be able to dominate the boards. He probably plays 32 to 35 minutes. So as long as the game stays competitive, I think Gobert's solid. Now, the positive here of the Jazz are they just run their starters big minutes no matter what. Like, they were playing their starters down or up by 30 in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left, like 2 games ago. So, like, that is a positive for the Jazz is they will play the starters a good amount, even in a blowout. I think Suggs and Wagner both look really good without Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony, highest usage guy. The only thing you have to worry about is potential, blowout and the fact that they might only play 3 quarters. Again, though, at their price points, it wouldn't hurt them as much. Let's see what's going on. Is this game still ugly? Oh, the Knicks are making a little bit of comeback. Okay, guys, I think that's basically it on the questions. So good luck on this 8-game slate. I hope you guys all have a great Saturday, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow for NFL Sunday. So good luck, guys.